The book of Judges is not a feel-good story. It's a warning. It's the gut-wrenching account of what happens when a nation, blessed by God, completely walks away from Him. Not slowly, not accidentally. They abandoned Him. And what followed was chaos, cruelty, compromise, and a level of corruption that mirrors the world we live in today. If you've ever wondered what it looks like when people no longer fear God, Judges is your mirror. Joshua has passed away, and with him, the strong leadership and fear of the Lord began to fade. God had given clear instructions: drive out the pagan nations, don't intermarry, don't adopt their gods. But Israel said, maybe just this one time, maybe just this one nation, maybe just this one idol. That's how it started, and just like that, obedience turned into compromise, and compromise turned into full-blown rebellion. God sent a messenger who told them point blank, because you didn't obey, these nations will be a snare to you, and their gods will become a trap. They wept when they heard it, but tears don't mean repentance. They cried and then did it anyway. A new generation rolls up, one that didn't know the Lord. And what followed was the darkest pattern in Israel's history. Sin, slavery, sorrow, salvation, silence, sin again. Over and over and over again. They knew better, but they didn't want better. They wanted what they wanted. Just like today, they weren't ignorant, they were arrogant. God, in His mercy, raised up judges, hence the name of the book, or deliverers, if you will. The first was Othniel. Israel was suffering under enemy rule, and when they cried out, God answered. Othniel stepped in, delivered them, and the land had peace for 40 years. But peace didn't lead to gratitude. It led to complacency. Next came Ehud, left-handed and strategic. The king oppressing Israel was Eglon of Moab, described as an extremely overweight man. That detail isn't body shaming, it's symbolic. Israel was under a ruler who fed himself while they starved. Ehud snuck in with a message from God. He had a dagger that he put straight into the king's gut. He left the palace with the doors locked behind him, and the people rose up and overthrew their oppressors. But the problem wasn't just the kings, it was Israel's heart. They kept going back to the very idols that enslaved them. In one verse, we meet Shamgar. No army, no fame, just one man and a farm tool. He killed 600 Philistines with an ox god. God used whoever was willing, but willing hearts were rare. Then came Deborah, a prophetess and judge. She heard from God. She led with strength. She told Barak to lead Israel into battle, but he said, only if you go with me. Barak feared man more than he feared God, so the victory went to a woman, not Deborah, but Jael. Jael saw the enemy, invited him in, and gave him milk to make him sleep, and drove a tent peg through his skull. She wasn't a warrior, she wasn't in the army, but she feared God more than the men of Israel did. The victory was great, the song of praise was powerful, but it didn't last because Israel didn't want to obey. They wanted relief from suffering, not repentance from sin. Judges isn't ancient history. It's a modern reflection. A nation once founded on truth now trades it for lies. People cry for justice, but mock righteousness. They want peace, but hate the Prince of Peace. Sound familiar? This book is not about them. It's about us. When everyone does what's right in their own eyes, wickedness is not just allowed, it's celebrated.